So everybody is trying living with paranoid schizophrenia. So I'm going to call this, my dad playing into my psychosis, in 2020 vlog. Well, to start off with, my cousins, could drive, from the time they were like 16 or 17. And I went to an alternative school. I went to two of them. The first alternative school that I went to was called the Further School at Glendon. And then my next alternative school was called the Era Center for Education. Um, my dad did not buy me a car, until I turned about, 22. I gotta pee, I'll be right back. So my dad did not buy me a car until I turned about 22. Um, got my bunny here. Her name is Midnight. She's a girl. But like I said, my cousins could drive when they were like 16 or 17. And my dad did not buy me a car. And my friends from further school, all had cars and things like that. When my one friend Ryan, died, my dad finally bought me a car. Because I told him that it's not fair that all my friends can drive in cars and things like that. So my dad finally bought me a car. But by that point, my friends, were old, and like I said, I was like 22. Um, I was hoping that maybe I could have gotten my license at like 17 or 18. But I didn't get my license until I was about 22 or 23. And my first car was a Pontiac Fiero. And my best friend, that lived here with me was a boy named James, Colvin. And then there's this boy on my Facebook named Carl who calls himself James Corona. Um, there was a boy, named Dan Reichley that wanted to hang out with me. And then there's this rapper that I found named Damon Winning that looks like him. And this guy that I believe raped me in my psychosis last year, his name was Billy. And then there's this guy that I don't talk to anymore because he was rude to me, named Jared that looks like him. I watched this granny porno when I was like 16 or 17, and the woman's name was Frances Miller, but she calls herself Great Granny Gigi, and she did a porno with a woman named Jeanette Spangler, and my dad's girlfriend is named Margie, but she calls herself Gigi, and her sister is named Jeanette. So they became real people around me that are real, even though I have schizophrenia. Also, I watched this video with a guy named John Hawk that raped a girl on Stickam. And then I have a friend named John Powell on Facebook that makes me think of him. And like I said, my first best friend and first girlfriend had similar names and things like that. I don't know. I was tired of ex-friends possibly putting things about me on slander pages, because there's only 2 slander pages out there about me with my name. And I made videos, and on my videos on this one channel I opened up got about 3 dislikes on my videos at a time when I made this channel, and I had to go to court for a peace order, because I talked about how my one girlfriend would cheat on me. The guy that I believe raped me, in my psychosis, lives in Florida. And my girlfriend lives in Maryland around me. I don't like my ex-girlfriend because she would cheat on me all the time. And I told my dad that I wanted to be famous and that I wanted to make videos about a situation and things like that. And my dad was like, well, I want you to be famous and things like that. So my dad was playing into my psychosis that I opened up on this one channel and things like that. My dad wasn't giving me my disability money, was probably stealing it and using it on vacations with him and his girlfriend. My dad did not let my friends come over very often. Or my one girlfriend. And he didn't like this new girl with black hair that I was with, about 9 months ago. And I broke up with her, so I don't really care. And my friend Jay, is going to hook me up, with a girlfriend, when I move to New York. He's going to hook me up with a girlfriend. So I'm going to have a girlfriend, when I move to New York. I don't like living under my dad's roof because he's mean. And he abused me after I became schizophrenic. And he was feeding into a psychosis that I had, by telling me that our house is like a prison and things like that, and telling me, that I should be famous and things like that. I don't know. So I don't like my dad George very much, because he was feeding into my psychosis. That I opened up on this one channel in 2020. So I don't like him. I see my dad as being an evil man, who abused me after I became schizophrenic, and he'll just bother me, even though I don't do anything to him. So I just, sit in my house and play Sims 4 and try and avoid him. And my dad, has attacked me before. My stepdad verbally abused me. And I think part of the reason why, my schizophrenia was so bad is because my dad abused me physically, and my stepdad abused me, verbally. But my mom, is bipolar with psychotic features. Um, and then there's also a relative on my dad's side of the family that has, schizophrenia. So I think that I got it from them. I didn't show signs of schizophrenia when I was in my alternative school. I got diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic, when I was like, 24, 25. The people coincidence people have been real, ever since I was about, 18 or 19 though. And they're real even though I have schizophrenia. Um, One of the first people coincidence people that I could tell was real was my dad's girlfriend, whose name is Margie, but she calls herself Gigi, and her sister is named Jeanette. And I could tell that she was a people coincidence person from this, granny porno that I watched, on the internet, where the names Gigi and Jeanette were said in it, and then that's my dad's girlfriend's name, and then her sister's name. When I noticed that they were people coincidence people, I thought it was strange. And then I think the very next set of people coincidence people that I, came across was this boy who went to school with me named Dan Reichley, and then there's this rapper named Damon Winning that I found, that looks exactly like him, and so Danny and Damon are people coincidence people. And then, like I said, my second girlfriend at my alternative school is a girl named Brooke. And then there's this girl on my Facebook named Bailey that looks like her that I don't like because she denied my Instagram follow request. The next set of people coincidence people that I noticed, was this boy named Carl that went to school with me who calls himself James Corona on Facebook, and then my friend who lived here with me, for about 3 years was named James Colvin. Also, I watched a video, with these two black girls, um, and these people would call and make videos and say, the names Jasmine and Brandy, and they would prank call her, and she said, I don't give a fuck about who Miss Jasmine or who Miss Brandy is. When these people would prank call her house. And then James's girlfriend, was Jasmine, and then her sister was named Brandy. So I don't have the prank call anymore, where the names Jasmine and Brandy were said where these people prank called her house, and she answered, and the names Jasmine and Brandy were said, but then Jasmine and Brandy became real people, that lived in my town, even though I had paranoid schizophrenia. The next set of people coincidence people that I met, this guy that I believe raped me in 2020 on the psych channel that I had a psychosis on, his name was Billy. And then there's a guy named Jared on my Facebook that I don't like, that I unfriended, that looks like him. And then, and this guy named Billy made a video with, the singer and makeup guy, Jeffree Star. And then this guy that I met, his name was Jeff McGaney. And his, witchcraft coven had the word star in it, so his name was Jeff and his coven had the word star in it. And I was taught that when you do witchcraft, you talk with gods and goddesses. And the people coincidence people are real, even though I am a paranoid schizophrenic. Another set of people coincidence people is at Bel Air at the ShopRite that I used to work at before I got disability. There's a man that works there whose name is Tony that still works there. There was a lady named Pam that worked there. And then there was a boy named Zachary, and my mom's name is Pam, my stepdad's name is Tony, and my brother's name is Zachary. Things like that. And the people coincidence people are real, even though I'm a paranoid schizophrenic. So my friend Jeff taught me that I'm a child of the god and goddess. And I do believe that because of the people coincidence people around me all the time. I don't know. There was a boy named Josh who noticed my psychosis last year on this channel I opened up, and I told him that Jasmine and Brandy are real people, and I also told him that Gigi and Jeanette are real people around me too. And I just told him, and I made a video on this one channel where I used my full name, and I told people that I was just in a psychosis last year on this one channel I opened up, and some of my videos got likes, and other videos it's a stream of no dislikes or likes or comments. I hear voices just about every day, but mostly just on the day before I get my injections, and my voices will talk like angels or demons or say things like that. So my dad was feeding into my psychosis last year, and he knew I bought a camera, and he knew that I was making videos about a situation, and he wasn't advising me I was in a psychosis or things like that. And he was playing into my psychosis. There was this old fat, gay guy named Gary that wanted to have a threesome with me, and he said that it was like, that my house was a prison, and then my dad also said that our house was like a prison too. So I believe that because Gary told me that, this one guy who noticed my psychosis, and also because my dad used the word prison, in text messages that I have between me and him, even though my house isn't a prison. That was just a paranoid delusion that I had. But I believed it because Gary, this one guy, told me, and because my dad George told me that. I don't know. So I don't like my dad because he knows that I'm paranoid schizophrenic, and he was feeding into a psychosis that I had last year, and things like that. And in my personal Facebook inbox, I only got one mean message from my friend's wife, but I don't like her because my friend was a liar who said he had sex with my teacher and my therapist and things like that, so I don't really like my friend that lived here with me for about 2 or 3 years, and I don't ever care if I talk to him again because he was a pathological liar. But he was my first threesome, so I was very attached to him. And then my second threesome was with a Russian boy named Alex, but he stole from me. And then my third threesome was with a boy named Ryan. And then my fourth threesome was with a boy named Austin, and my girlfriend with black hair, that I was with about 6 or 7 months ago. And then also, in the basement there was a boy, named Noah who had sex with my girlfriend, and I watched. And I allowed him to have sex with my girlfriend. With my last girlfriend that I was with, there was a boy named Aaron who came over to my house that I used to buy weed off of, and I allowed him to have sex with my girlfriend. And Aaron is in jail for about 10 years because he stabbed somebody. So I don't like Aaron. Also the Dan Rakely boy about the Dan Rakely boy who was my friend that went to school with me, who is a people coincidence person, with this rapper that I found on YouTube. He had sex with my girlfriend in my house too. My friend, James, had sex with my girlfriend, and we did threesomes, and things like that. But I don't talk to James anymore because his wife noticed my psychosis. And when I had my psychotic blackout on this one channel I opened up, I got about 33 subscribers on it, and I got about 700 friend requests on the Facebook account that I set up during my psychosis. And I became friends with people. And there was also this black guy named Benz that I became friends with, that I talked to. I don't like, this girl named Courtney who stole from me, and this guy named Alex who stole my Xbox from me. And during my psychosis last year, I made a slander page about this guy named Alex, who stole from me, and he noticed my psychosis, and said that I was crazy and things like that, even though I'm just a paranoid schizophrenic person, and I wasn't aware of my surroundings, and I didn't think anything was wrong, because there's about 9 or 10 people on my Facebook that trip me out, that are real, even though I have schizophrenia, and there's about 10 or 11 of them that I'm not friends with anymore, that are real, even though I have schizophrenia. So I believe in this girl that looks like Amy Lee or Amy Lynn Hartzler, from Evanescence, that sits in heaven, with a huge knife, and then a god as a man with a beard, that monitor my life, and things like that. I don't know. There are only about 9 people on my Facebook that I can't explain away, that are real, even though I have paranoid schizophrenia, and there are about 10 of them that I'm not friends with, that are people coincidence people, and the main people coincidence person that I see most of the time is my dad's girlfriend Margie. But I've never met her sister Jeanette. It was and they're both people coincidence people. But I've never met Jeanette. I only see Margie, sometimes. And like I said, that's a coincidence from this, video that I watched on the internet, and then they became real. So Hecate and God, are just that real to me, because the people coincidence people, are real, around me all the time, even though I'm a paranoid schizophrenic. The guy whose name was Billy that I believe raped me, in my psychosis, last year he calls himself Billy Myers, even though that's not his real name. And then there was this boy that bullied me when I was young named Rob Meyer, who was a people coincidence person, that lived up the street from me, but I don't like Rob Meyer, because he bullied me. So he was a people coincidence people, too. Even though I'm a Wiccan person, I don't play with knives or anything like that. I just believe in a goddess that sits in heaven with a huge knife. And a god, which is a man with a beard. I noticed that there was only one tweet of me on Twitter from when I had my psychosis. And the person who posted the tweet of me deleted it. But there was only one or two responses to it. And the only response to it got about 9 likes. And I deleted the YouTube, because all my videos had dislikes anyway and I was in a psychosis. But like I said before, I opened up a YouTube channel, and basically just used my full name. And the video where I use my full name and things like that, the video has about 300 views. And I just said that I was in a psychosis last year. And some people like my videos and nobody really commented on them. I don't know. I just share things on my personal Facebook, and I hope to be able to see my friend Javier. My car breaks every now and then, which is also stressful on me, which triggers my schizophrenia and things like that, with my car breaking and things like that. I don't know. But my car works most of the time. And my dad has a marijuana card, so he gets marijuana for me from the dispensary sometimes. Another coincidence is there was this boy named Sean that I hung out with, and then he had a friend named Brandon, and then there was this boy named Brandon who hooked me up with a girl named Gabby. About 4 years ago. And then Brandon had a friend named Sean, or things like that. So there's a lot of people around me that are real, even though I have schizophrenia. So I'm Wiccan because of that, because with witchcraft the laws are to know, to alter, and to keep silent. So I do believe in Wicca and witchcraft. And with Christianity, the laws are with faith in Jesus Christ. And it's just, I feel like I know that a goddess noticed me, or several gods and goddesses, and a god noticed me, and they monitor my life and things like that. I always wanted an answer from God, and I feel like I got it. Even though my life is pretty shitty sometimes. But I just like when I talk to my friends on Facebook or things like that. And I play with my rabbit during the day, and I play my Sims 4 and things like that. Well, this is going on 29 minutes, so I'm going to end this. I'm going to call this People Coincidence Vlog, and my dad feeding into my psychosis last year vlog. And the time is 12:48 a.m. Here in Maryland, and it is Saturday, November 27th, 2021. So I'm gonna end this. I hope everybody has a good, happy Saturday. So I'm gonna end this. So yeah, peace and love.